Tamam. Give the tea. Drink something. Bismillah. Any other question? Anyone else? Bismillah. Yes, say.
Shem, I was thinking about a couple of days ago about, complaining to yourself about what I deserve and what I should have. And I was like, whoever told you deserve anything? You know what I'm saying? I started thinking about, where do you get off deserving anything? And I was just really going down and boiled down to, bro, your ego is telling you you deserve this and that. And it was like, so what do you deserve? Who do you deserve it? And so I started, going with it. I was like, well, you deserve whatever your shake gives you. You deserve. And it was like, it made me start thinking about what are the limits and the boundaries, because like you were just saying, it's not just to be like, oh, it is what it is, but it's how do I make what I'm having better, or not just to be content. There's something better than being content with what state you're in. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to search and see, like, it's not just to end at, whatever my shake gives me, I deserve. That's real.
When it is not for you, it's for others. What is coming to you, you should be content. But what is for others, we should do more. Should not be content about others. Right? And when you become a father, you realize that, yes, you can share your food. You must. If you don't, something is wrong. If you cannot even give a child, when a child asks for it, then something is wrong, right? Something is wrong with what? Your humanity. Forget religion, spirituality. Your humanity, something is wrong. When you are too angry at them, right? When you are too arrogant, when you are... So, looking at that mirror, then you say, now, Allah has given them to me. Your wives, Allah has given them to me. My responsibility as a leader is to take care of them. You doing something to take care of them. Everybody is doing it. This whole world saying, I'm taking care of family. But what is different about this way is we're taking care of family, but the definition of family is bigger. It's not just your bloodline. There's all the kids here. As much as you can do, you need to navigate, you need to be real about it. Not just to say, I love everyone, but it's who are your brothers. Not just your bloodline, but everyone here is your brother. Coming back again, who should you love? Who should you love? Should you love? You should love. Then you should help. You should serve. Why? What makes it different? Because we are looking to the Prophet ﷺ, as our mashayikhs are teaching us, to take those qualities and to love according to those qualities. Not the qualities that we see that this world is saying, from movies to songs or books or whatever, but the qualities of our shaykh, who is distilling the qualities of the Prophet ﷺ. We should live by that. Because now everyone is on the same road, we take care of each other on the road, on the same road. Do you understand?
Yes.
Now, you look what you can provide. And if you look to what you can provide for your kids, and then you look again to your neighbor and this and this. So everything is like, how you say, you are containing that. You understand? You cannot do too much. You should not. If I do too much, this one doesn't have, this one doesn't have, this one doesn't have. So you start thinking, like I said, now your mind is bigger. I'm doing this, but I must also think about this, and how about this one? I must think. Regardless of the color, right? Background. So now you start thinking, and this is on the next step. Not just to look at your own children, okay, you have to be kind to them, you have to be kind to them. But that also means that I have to know what stops me or our kids from being kind. Maybe this one is too entitled, maybe this one is too lazy, maybe this. You understand that too, and you are now understanding what that kid is. As you understand your kid is lazy. You don't just sit and then curse at them. You want to help them, right? Now, see all those qualities other kids have? They lack that. They are like this. This one might be too like this. Then your next step must be, how can I help? According to the means that I have to make the person, the kid, to be less like that. This is crucial. So then this is then not about what you have anymore. You understand? To be satisfied. Because now this is beyond what you have materially. What you have materially, like I said, you want to have sometimes. Some people have more, some people they have less. But this is according to your level of honor now. Okay, we're not telling people who have more to give up everything. We're not telling people who have less to want to have the things that there's people who have more. This is according to your heart now. You say, I have this, now I must take care of this, then what about this, what about this? I cannot do this, but can I do this? Is it about satisfaction? No, it's not. It is, yes, it is beyond satisfaction. I'm satisfied with what I have. In fact, I want to give more good that I have. I want to make sure that everyone can have this. Maybe it's difficult, impossible for everyone to have the same, but something, you understand? So you work towards it. With that kind of movement, it never stops. Because it's, okay, maybe you have 10 jackets. You say, who doesn't have a jacket? But it doesn't stop at that. And you say, okay, it's not just about this. Then what about 5 years from now? It's not about jackets. What about 10 years from now? It's not about how do we start thinking how to take care of each other. And it's more than just materially. It is giving honor to the person, to people here, that just as the Sheikh devotes time to each and every one, we must try to do the same. And like I said, you cannot just do from everyone, but start somewhere. Don't be stuck in that circle to include this one. Oh, maybe this one you're trying to include, it doesn't really work. Okay, you disengage, you try another way, you try it. It's dynamic, you see. It gets bad when it's just you, your family, and then you don't include anyone. Or a very small circle you're including, and then the rest you don't even acknowledge that they exist. And that, you teach your children to become that, and that is the way of the world. That's not the way of the prophets. Islam is very unusual. It's very radical when you look at it. Because they're teaching us the only way you can succeed in this world is if you become cutthroat. Right? The Prophet is showing us otherwise. 1400 years of Islamic history showing us otherwise. You maybe need that quality, but that's not the only quality you need. There are other qualities. You cannot be cutthroat. You can also be generous with that. You can also be kind with that. You can also be merciful with that. And now, because of this movement different things, extreme things, opposite things. It must. Then you see, oh, this person is more full, more complete.
Sham, when we were that movie, so remember the movie we watched a couple nights ago at
the kids were watching a movie?
Yeah, the kids were watching the movie.
Uh-huh.
Not us.
What were they watching, the kids?
And it was like an anime about, I don't remember the name, but it was very sad.
What's the kids were watching? Huh? Some Japanese movie.
Yeah, Japanese.
About war.
About war,
Ah.
yes. And it...
Not Superman.
No.
Too woke for you. This is beyond. Anyway, it's about war. It's
War.
a Japanese animation.
Yes. And
Japanese cartoon. Cartoon means Tom and Jerry. Cartoon means one wolf chasing one stupid bird for decades. He can eat so many things, but he wants to eat this bird, right? That's cartoon. But there's a Japanese cartoon that is about war and about pain, about suffering.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And it was really touching film. You know, I didn't expect it to be that way. But there was a moment, and it really, what you just said, where the boy goes, he says, I need rice. And the man says, I can't sell you rice. He says, I got money, I'll give you rice. He says, I can't sell you rice. And when I saw it, it bothered me. I was like, man, this dude's a bad, you know, you watch the movie, you're like, man, this guy's a bad guy. But then I started thinking about, what about other people that might need rice? And it was just like, yeah, I was looking at the man as just being cutthroat and just not really giving a care about the kid. But I'm like, everybody wants rights from this man. You know what I'm saying? And so what you just talking about not being cutthroat to be successful or to distribute what you have, whether it be a lot or little, it makes me wonder because the only way I've ever seen is cutthroat to be in distribution or how to do anything.
Right.
So I don't even have a reference other than seeing you know, how to do it.
No, that is true. Leave that movie aside because it's so many things there. It depends on the situation. Context of the whole movie is missing. But it doesn't matter. It's just showing everyone suffering. 1400 years, Islam never had any war. Muslims are continuously, right? There's no starvation continuously also. This is what is missing in our study of our history too. How Muslims in very, very dire situations, how they conduct themselves. But is it really that difficult? Do we need all the people of 1,400 years to write journal and write books to understand how Muslims behave? Because Muslims behave according to the Prophet ﷺ. What does that mean? When I saw that part too, I'm thinking, yeah, this, that, or the other, and how Muslims are going to behave to each other, you see? How Muslims are going to behave to each other. When we had religion, when we had spirituality, when we have manners, when we had a heart, not a tongue to memorize Quran, a heart. We were holding on very strongly to the principles of what? When there is food for one, there's food for two. Food enough for two is enough for three. Not only the stories of the Sahabi Kiram and the difficulties they went through, but each age of the Salihin, of the Awliyas, and how we take strength and power from that. During the time of the Ottomans, they are well known from that time until now, until Judgment Day, and the descendants of the Ottomans, especially, let's say, the Turks. They are well known for generosity. It's not only because they're Turkish, no, it's not that also. Of course, there are others who have gone the wrong way because they are Turks. When they come back to the Jahiliyyah, any nation that goes back to the Jahiliyyah, they become worse. But because of the quality of Rahmatil lil Alameen, right, it's given, and people are taking it, so it is, and we teach. And so many so-called social experiments are there for us to see. Hungry person going to a Muslim selling food and saying, I'm hungry, I don't have any money. Muslim would not hesitate to say, here's some food. Right?
Yes.
Really, this one crosses Sufi, Wahhabi, Shia, right? You just say, don't worry about it, take it. But you don't get that in those contexts of people who are following too much. You know, other race, other religions, too much, you see that. Because the impact of this kind of cutthroat secularism, okay, it hasn't really gone too much deep into the hearts of the Muslims. I'm maybe generally saying it, but this is generally. Are there specific ones that they are lying, cheating, they are selfish, this and that? Yes, but if we're talking about in that specific situation, poor person comes up. We are taught, everyone here is taught, a poor person comes up to ask you for food. What a shame it is to not give the person food, yes? Anyone here is saying, no, I don't believe that. No. So, but there are many out there that it is very unnatural. They don't want to deal with it. They're like, just walk away. I don't want to deal with this person. But it is a good lesson. Those days will come. What you gonna do? Bad boys.
That's why I hit Shay. That's why, because literally one night I was sitting thinking about those 3 months, had 3 months of food. I was like, you know what? I should make sure my neighbors got 3 months of food.
Right.
And then I was like, we should come together and make sure we all got it, come figure out a plan. And then I started thinking about, why are you so concerned? And then it was just like, then I asked myself a question. I was like, bro, you only want them to have food so that you know they have food, so they not asking you for food. And it was like, I always be thinking about Shay. You're always talking about the one with the shotgun. I'd be like, bro, don't be the dude with the shotgun, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking like, you don't even want to help your neighbors for the right reason.
Right. So we must choose our neighbors. Make sure that these are your neighbors, not other ones. Make sure that you are the good neighbor. If you're not, whatever you do now is what you're going to do then. How you live is how you're going to die. How you die is how you're going to be raised. If you are unconcerned, and you don't have to be rich to be generous. You don't. If you have the spirit of generosity, dry piece of bread, you would happily share it with people. And that is the qualities of the Millat of Ibrahim alayhi salam. You just have to share your food. You have to share. You can't eat without sharing your food. You eat, you have to think someone this, that. Those are the qualities that we should have, yes? And given the difficulty, as we live here, we don't have neighbor, right? But we can. We are still trying to be, we're meeting here often. We are trying to, you cook something, you give to someone gives. We're trying to make these sunnats to become alive. These are forgotten sunnats. Just to share your food. You cook something and to give to your neighbor what you cook. It's a forgotten sunnah. Who does that here? You understand? But at least we're saying, okay, now cook for everyone, share with everyone, this, go to each other's houses. This is to jumpstart it, right? So if you are not sharing, if you're just, some people, maybe they have and they don't want to share. Some people, they don't have anything, but they don't want to share also. They're like, people should be sharing with me. They're always sitting and say, why nobody is helping me? But we don't see that one running around to help others. They don't. They're just complaining about themselves. There's a sickness when nobody is helping. I'm doing, nobody is helping me. Blah, 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 blah. But we don't see the person by his own willingness and generosity to, okay, what do you do? What do you need? Okay, I'm going to go quietly. They don't. That's another sickness. Because Shavani says that the man who is rich and proud, it's to be expected. But he says Allah hates the one who is poor and is proud. You see? So if you are in the habit of sharing, you have something, you give it this, you give that. And we say begin with someone, begin with something. And so many people, they are generous with their sheikhs maybe. Well, we know that that is a show because they're not generous to each other. Now you doing that is not generosity, it's something that you want. You give, we're saying you're giving that one. That one also you give time. That one you give more tolerance. That one you give more understanding. You give, but you're always giving. You're involved. You're not just alone, by yourself. So if you do that, then that sickness will start to go away. And then, for yourself, whatever small thing you have for yourself, satisfaction comes. You say, this is enough. Oh, Allah, it's enough. Forgotten sunnats, huh? Teaching our kids to like. Let's try. Huh? At the same time, we're telling people here, but your generosity, run it by me first. Don't, just because you hear like this or like that, I'm saying, now somebody says, Chef, I give so bad, I need 10,000. And they say, you give, I'm being generous. It's not like that. So, in fact, those kinds of things, we say, you don't run it by me, I'm not going to be responsible. Even if you're going to make, you come together, you say, we can help each other, we can do this, maybe we can do that. Business or doing something by together, you run it by me. If not, later something happens, don't blame me. I said, I'm not there in the beginning, right? Then why are you including me at the end? What do you want me to do? So this is when living in this kind of community is slightly different. It's not about me controlling everything, no. Run it by me to say. Maybe I will say, and I don't want added responsibility. I will say, think about it. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, maybe talk to this person. I'll say, run by this expert and that. And what do you think? Okay, like this. Then continue. You have to try, inshallah. So, وَمِنَ اللَّهُ تَوْفِيقَ الْفَاتِحَةِ. This.
صلى الله على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وأزواجه وذريته كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وبارك على سيدنا محمد